happen. It was definitely going to happen, and it happened yesterday. So we're dealing with 27.25 now. In Mr. Cardoso's analysis, they have to continue to do this, and it's actually of these monetary policies. And I don't know where that is coming from, but I think Mr. Cardoso has his own mind on how he wants to approach this thing. Because what he's saying is that, look, the fact that we now have some level of stability and a bit of reduction in headline inflation from the last MBS report is because, these monetary policies are now working. Interest rates, the increment that they've been doing has been helping to tame inflation. I don't know how that works because, we've always talked about monetary and fiscal policies and how both are supposed to help and work together. Whereas we're doing a lot of things what they intend to achieve. I was hoping that there's going to be a lot of conversations around forex and looking at profiteering. We're trying to also gauge and find a way to bring down pressure on dollars. So the same old rhetoric, the situation not really changing. And in the midst of all of that stage, people are still hoping that the economic direction and policy of this government will bring the needed results. Still a long way, really. We'll see how it all goes at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. But then that's the major headline on the front page of Vanguard this morning. So I'll just start with that. Unemployment up by 5.3% as CBN hikes interest rate to 27.25%. And we have riders to that. Interest rate hike detrimental to investment and economic growth, says experts. Cost of funds will be further exacerbated. Unemployment reality on ground is far worse. Renaissance Africa company says Dangote refinery.
I don't think the CBN is listening to anybody. All these so-called experts who have been talking about how counterproductive these decisions are consistently continue to push up the interest rate. I think they have their own mindset. They have their own thinking as to what to achieve. But what you're doing is hurting businesses, killing businesses, making it difficult for people to run businesses. And that's why I'm saying that, look, we still don't know the economic policy in their policy pronouncements and implementation.
Well, it's really unfortunate because one way or the other, it ties into themselves. I'm talking about the inflation conversation, into the NPR conversation, even into unemployment conversation as well. Because the report coming in now is that the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has announced that Nigeria's unemployment rate has grown by 1.2% to 5.3% on year. I think it's growing.
That's the most important.
That's the most important. I'm not whether or not unemployed youths, amongst us, and unemployment based on educational attainment shows that the unemployment rate among persons with postgraduate. Wrap my head around it. Yes, I'm still. Does that really work for us here in this country? Do we really work with?
I would like to ask the MBS guys, how are they able to tally their figures? That work 1 hour. How are you able to conduct the survey to know the figures, the exact figures of people who work 1 hour, 2 hours, casual workers? Because we are not even a data-driven nation. We know that when it comes to harvesting data, it's extremely difficult because we are not a data people. We are not able to really manage these things. In other clients that use this model to calculate their unemployment or employment rate, they have the data, Sandra. Even if they are not, even if you work for 1 hour, they have a data, there's no way you invade the system in the form of payment, taxes, and what have you. So with all of that structure, they're able to put this data together. But I'm surprised that we've decided to now use a model that we cannot properly conduct a survey on because of our own realities and structure. But again, that's what the MBS has always said. And I'm telling you, data experts have always questioned the different models and statistics that have always come out from the MBS. But since that's the only agency we're supposed to work with, realistically, as a government institution, we'll continue to work with it. But there are still questions around their models, the survey pattern and every other thing they do.
Well, thank you very much. Well, as regards forex and forex conversation, what we have here is on forex exchange inflows. Cardoso said his strategy is yielding desired results, with remittances in August alone put at $585 million, and he reiterated his resolve to attract greater remittances, but warned that raising the value of the local currency against the major currency was beyond the CBN.
What was the value alone? And when someone says is achieving the desired result. Again, the question would have been, what is the desired result, Mr. Kadoso? What are you trying to achieve?
What are you trying to achieve?
Exactly. When this government came into power, what was the rate? What is the rate now? And that desired result, which is an umbrella statement for me, not too general a statement for me, would have been nice to ask him, break it down, sir, Mr. Kadoso, CBN governor. What are you trying to achieve? And when you talk about achievements, what you're trying to achieve, you must give clear timeline. It can't just be this whole vague analysis and headline making statements that have nothing to do with reality. Let's know what exactly do you want to achieve, what are the things you're trying to do to achieve those things, and what are the clear timelines. So in 3 months, this is what I'm going to achieve. So that we also have the, you can't just tell us you are going somewhere and we don't even know where you're going to. Oh, I'm trying to achieve something. What exactly are you trying to achieve? And what has been achieved so far? What are the indices that we can hold on to say, okay, we are going somewhere? These are just statements that they keep throwing at us. And here we are, the things keep getting worse and worse, and things are getting more difficult for Nigerians. Whether you like it or not, Sandra, the crisis we have in the oil sector today is still tied to this forest crisis.
Speaking of,
every other thing is tied to this forest crisis.
Speaking of tying everything together,
and then somebody said he's achieving something. What is he achieving? Where is he going to?
Maybe they have their own plans, and according to their own plans, they're achieving the desired result for their own plans. Because if
and that's why it would be nice
and the oil, sector, because according to Mr. Kadoso, oil production has to be ramped up in order to carry, the economy, because apparently we are a monolithic economy where we're heavily dependent on oil. And now he has expressed optimism that the Dangote refinery will reduce pressure in the forex market, because according to him, 10 to 15% of the current forex demand was for petroleum products. So we are still looking up to Dangote refinery.
And does Mr. Kadoso know that thing is saying is beyond his own capacity to decide?
Right.
It is beyond his purview. Whatever happens in the oil sector he can't even have direct, whatever he does with the monetary policies can really not have direct impact on it. Because again, oil production, for example, is not a CBN thing. It has to be the NNPC doing what it needs to do. At the end of the day, again, we keep talking about monetary and fiscal policy. A lot of the fiscal policies, which is what we start talking about, as far as the oil sector is concerned, it's beyond its purview. It's not something that is moving out for implementation. These guys have to have some form of convergence synergy at some point. And if you are doing something that is at variance with what others are doing, at the end of the day, this is the kind of crisis you get. Whereas in the oil sector, the active players are singing discordant tunes. They are saying no manner of things that will not even give any confidence to anybody. I'm sure there are stories about this, the Dangote refinery saying something else, the NNPC says something else, IOC saying no manner of things. A circle of confusion is what we have in the oil sector.
Well,
and that's what Mr. Kadoso is presenting to us now as something that we should hope on to help with our forest crisis.
I hope on industries. Yes, people in the business industry basically are reacting to the increase in interest rates. The CPPE, that's the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, the CEO, doctors, entrepreneurs, and other investors in the economy are craving for a breath of fresh air. The CBN chose to tighten the noose on them by resorting to a further tightening of monetary policy. We also have here Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria. The president, Dr. Femi Egbesola, said that the move would lead to further contraction in the real sector of the economy. He said, and I quote, "It's unfortunate that this is coming again at this time when manufacturers and actors in the real sector are still grappling with the high cost of doing business, among many other challenges. This definitely will push up further cost of doing business and ultimately the cost of goods and services. So the manufacturing sector may contract more as fund bad debts because many lenders will find it difficult to live up to their loan.
For those that have been able to borrow, or people who borrow with the intention not to pay.
Intentional.
Let's go to court. Yes, some desperate. Yes, now there'll be some desperate business owners who will look like, okay, you like
business word. It's very, very.
Yes.
lending is very, very important, because a lot of all these businesses, they need working capital. So there's no how.
That's how the economy works, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important for them to. It's not like, oh, they don't have the money, but
Look,
but
not
with a 30-something point, not with a 30-something.
Never. Dangote also said it, and that you
can't
guys
have
are
a good
killing
economy.
businesses.
Yes, exactly.
You can't be saying you're trying to improve the economy, going towards a $1 trillion economy, and you are tightening the noose on businesses. You are making it difficult for them to get some good liquidity to run their businesses, expand operations, and you say you are going somewhere. That's why I'm saying that we don't know where Mr. Kado cleaning. They have been complaining. They are saying that, look, you guys are killing businesses. It's not, we don't understand what you guys are trying to achieve.
But what about this reaction? That my take on the recent hike in NPR is that in matters like this, the CBN usually has information that may not be at the disposal of the public, that he says evidence of major threats to our exchange rate and inflation.
So they have some information that should not be given to the public. And so they are working for themselves, not the public. Whether you like it or not, perception is key. Even in policy formulation and implementation, perception is key. Because whether you like it or not, the policy you are formulating is not for yourself, it's for the people. And the process, they must be carried along. They must understand what you're trying to achieve. So if there are information they have and they are not even making information available to the public, then it's a misnomer too when it comes to policy formulation. Whatever you also have as information and you're trying to achieve will also help them in their own decision making as business owners.
Said Fuad, as we all know, I think we can all agree that in order to tame inflation, it's a joint by controlling recurrent spending and focus on productivity, including wrapping up some sort of assistance to small businesses, rather than the
and what is happening at that level, Sandra? Do we have anything really happening at that level?
So the pendulum is just
the same small businesses you are talking about are the one cost of production keeps going up. I was reading a story about one of the telecoms companies saying that look, they are not. Anyway, Sandra, Mr. Cardoso, he said he's the man that knows what he's doing. The president trusts him. Let's see where the trust will take us as a people.
It's all right. Thank you very much, for Saeed. That's the major headline on the front page of time check right now is 2 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3. The show progresses. The major headline on the front page of the Punch: subsidy. Federal government will spend 230. Every time we talk about the oil sector in this country, I don't know anything again. I don't know.
Did I actually go to school?
Did I go to school? What's going on?
My thank you was just in the dream.
Anyways, let's have this conversation. The writer here says marketers and others back Dangote on subsidy removal. Merman lists over 50 million liters of Dangote petrol. The story is on page 2, so let's see what we have here. The federal government may spend about 236 billion naira monthly to subsidize petrol that is imported through the NNPC rather, and the one that is also from Dangote subsidies completely. He said the removal will help to determine the actual petrol consumption in the country, as his position received backing from Ipman and City Refinery in the past week. And major marketers have stated that the product has sold 8 naira per liter. So we are subsidizing again from Dangote.
That's what Sandra.
Yes.
NNPCL said, look, we bought this.
They said no.
That you are lying.
But they did not say figure.
And they did not tell us.
And they didn't give us.
There's a problem there. Up till now, we have not been able to resolve that problem.
Yes.
And what is that problem? How much exactly is Dangote selling to the NNPC? As we speak this morning, the only thing we are working with is the figure of the NNPCL that Dangote has disputed. So in between that now, NNPCL, the marketers are saying NNPC is now also. That's number one. Sandra, as we speak this morning, the volume of petrol that is being lifted from the Dangote refinery, we don't have a figure.
It's been disputed as
well. Disputed.
Yes.
So, in between that too, there's a problem. Because if we are now having information as to the volume of liters that have been supplied, see, those two simple issues, Sandra, how they are going to be able to resolve our daily consumption is
been stagnant for the past 2 years at 66.4 million barrels.
And then recently they said maybe 44 million or 47 million.
49, say it dropped in June.
So Sandra, again, what we are getting locally and what we are importing. How do we reconcile the figures now? So that we know, because with what we have, what we are subsidizing from Dangote refinery is not as much as the subsidy we are paying for the imported product, I mean. But who is going to help us reconcile the figures now with this that we have? Who is going to save Nigeria from these guys in being able to reconcile these questions? These are supposed to be basic, simple things. And that was why I told you, Sarah imported. We begin to see Dangote refinery as imported product if we are not careful. You don't understand what I'm saying? What was they have deliberately now modeled up everything. And I understand when you say your IQ keep dropping when we have this conversation. Because it's supposed to be something so simple. Dangote in his interview is still telling you that, look, that's what I can do. If you say you are this, and Dangote is also calling attention to the fact that, look, these figures these guys are giving you for daily consumption is a lie.
But it doesn't also help if he doesn't, give the figures from his own end either, don't you think, Fuad? Because if he's contesting, You see,
this is the issue, Sandra. When Dangote started producing diesel, did we have all of this back and forth? When he started doing Jet A1, that look, some people went to these guys see this. Dangote said that they have a couple of businesses. And while they were writing to the president, NMDPRA was telling importing is even better than what he's producing. Again, to justify the ridiculousness of the decision to continue to import refined products into an oil producing nation. And then why Dangote shut them up to say that, look, this is my diesel, this is the lab. NMDPRA, show me your laboratory and show me how you've been testing to know the quality of this product. Up to today, they have not responded to that statement. But what he has done is helping us to now see the level of corruption we have in the oil sector. Sandra, the guy said, look, my PMS is now available. We have done everything. We are now going to roll out petrol. And then all hell let loose. Suddenly there was scarcity. Suddenly the people that did. And now we still have this conversation around, look, you sold to me at this price, this sell to me, I get truck into my facility without me loading it. So why are you questioning my capacity?
Dangote cannot, deliver on the millions of liters that we need.
And what is Dangote telling you?
Have you?
It's what they are saying.
And I did not.
And I said there's no product.
Look at that.
I said I have the capacity to give you one. This you see the level of ridiculousness is just somehow Sandra. You guys had the opportunity. 7% is to get 40 week supply. From agreement, they not really fix this now.